It's a Monday, but when you're semi-retired, not that different. Weather's different. Got a lot more clouds today. It's already breezy. It's a windy, warm, humid Monday. Is it hot? I'd consider it hot. Not as hot as 100 degrees, record-breaking temperature yesterday. You know, the records for today and tomorrow are only in the mid-90s, I think 96. But we're not going to get there. Incidentally, the records for today are from the 1800s. It was 96. How come July 25th has historically not been one of the hotter days of the summer? All kinds of webs. Look at that. Anybody afraid of spiders? Where are they? All right, so there's rain falling right now across Vermont. Oh, look, wait, time out. Look at that. That is cool. Nature is cool. Wind and rain may bust up some of these webs today. Springfield, Vermont, so far, at least the only station I've seen with over 1.5 inches of rain, most of that coming since 6 a.m. And those storms are traversing to the north. We've had some severe weather. Yesterday there was a pretty interesting pattern. You know, we thought that the severe weather was going to come into northern New York and Vermont, but instead it was central New York and western Massachusetts. So that was unusual. You can never predict what's going to happen exactly with these thunderstorms. So here's the map roughly at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The storms that are out there right now are weakening, and there's supposed to be a new line forming. Now let's go to 8 o'clock tonight, and that's the best chance for some severe weather making it south of Manchester, New Hampshire. Not everyone's going to get the rain. It's, again, a lottery. So here's the rainfall estimate from the NAM, which hasn't been that great, has it? And you see it's pretty sparse in eastern Massachusetts, so maybe we'll luck out. Incidentally, I bought a new rain gauge. I'm gonna have to break that out today. Show you that tomorrow. Sign up for that Coco Roz. I'm gonna be a weather watcher. I've always been a weather watcher, but I had never contributed that much. I worked in the garden for hours and hours yesterday, and yeah, well, worked slowly in that heat. Looks like the animals haven't touched the goods. Trying to get out of the wind also. And so I went shopping for tomato steaks, but my tomatoes, that was a tomato that grew amongst the peas. I call that a compost tomato because it just grew from some seeds left over from last year. And how tall is it? Well, that's an 8-foot stake. How do you put up an 8-foot tomato stake? Well, you go to the store and you go right by the tomato stakes and you go to the 8-foot pressure treated 1x2. And to try and get up there and punch that into the ground is not an easy task. The sunflower's also got an 8-foot stake. And the zucchini that the animals were munching on, still there. I think we can actually still use this zucchini. Just go like that, and boom, there's dinner. Anybody need a zucchini? The zucchini plants are starting to, it looks like, decay. I don't know if we're going to get any more zucchinis. Some summer squash, I really cleaned them out yesterday and tried to save them. There's one that, just what happens when they get old. I tried to save that one too. We'll see if that works. Anyhow, yesterday, I was sitting there with Jerry watching the planes go by, taking off from Logan, and it was really fascinating what happened with a jet plane that came in from across the North Atlantic. That was probably up around 35,000 feet, leaved a condensation trail. And then there was another one that was going out into the Atlantic. It was lower. It also left a condensation trail. And they started doing the alphabet for me. First there was an H, and then there was a T, and then there was an X. Just amazing. So 2 anthropogenic clouds morphed with a regular cloud, not caused by man. And I just will leave you with some ranting and raving from the yard after a couple of beers yesterday, and maybe a little fun with T-Rex at sunset yesterday. Oh, incidentally, after today's heat, looks like a pretty nice week. Maybe just a little bit of precipitation coming in with a front on Thursday and Friday. And next weekend, another weekend in July, looks good with air from Canada. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Just after 6:30, I think it's about 108 degrees outside on Sunday, July 24th. Record warmth, and believe it or not, some people are actually coming from Europe to cool off in Boston. That plane came in like a half hour ago, and I saw it was leaving a contrail. Not a chemtrail, a contrail that really lasts. But that is anthropogenic weather. Was the 100 plus degree weather in Boston anthropogenic? And what about the Red Sox losing to the Rays every day? Is that anthropogenic? Ha, 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 ha. Thank you, Lady Gaga, for coming to our party. Yeah, that was in the sun. The thermometer said 108 or so. So these planes are coming in from Europe because you know it's hotter there than it is here. And the one on the top, that guy came in from right to left from across the Atlantic at about 6 o'clock, which was about 35, 40 minutes ago. And the one on the lower part is headed to Europe, where maybe it's getting cooler. That's called a condensation trail. It's made up mostly of H2O. It is not the government or some big brother conspiracy to chem us. Very interesting. The top contrail is now passing the mid-level contrail. So the wind's different up high, and that up higher wind is more, well, it's probably faster and more from the west and southwest, while that mid-level, lower, more stable, is more from the west and moving slower. That's my theory. A few minutes later now, and two condensation trails are actually passing one another. The top one, the longer one, it's now below, it's moving towards the east-northeast, and the other one's kind of moving toward the east at a lower altitude. But guess what? They've blended now. So anyone looking up from about there all the way toward the sun just believes that that's just a regular cloud, when it was indeed generated by a jet plane, was conditional stability. So the plane caused the air to rise, cool, and condense, which generated the cloud, which maintained itself now for close to an hour, and a lower cloud generated by a plane is now merging. Fascinating. Jerry just said the wind's blowing lighter down here, but stronger up there in different directions. And yes, this is all wind shear. And wind shear causes severe weather and rough landing. It looks like an H now. We got an H. Hard to understand. Madonna's still here, and those clouds now, the one that formed more north is way south. Looks like a sideways T, thank you, or goalpost, as Jerry says. And then we've got all the jets taking off toward the south. They're circling around, and that dude's probably got about a 50 or 60 knot tailwind now heading off to the east. It's just so fascinating with the two anthropogenic clouds. The one on the right, move to the right. The one on the left, move to the left. Different altitudes, different wind speeds. And then in the middle is just a regular cirrus cloud that's way ahead of cooling air mass. It's causing severe weather way off. Those clouds over there are way over in New Hampshire and Vermont. And severe weather is ongoing in New York and Pennsylvania. It'll be here tomorrow, though. These high, thin clouds are a sign of a big weather system coming in tomorrow. Okay, it's cooling off, so let's go outside and play, right? Want to play soccer? Yeah. Rex is a really good soccer player. It's hard to get the ball away from him. Oh, is it going over the edge? Yep, that's it. You saw it live. Next time it gets cool, I'll go get it. That stuff down there is nasty. Don't ever climb down in sumac and whatever that thorny stuff is. Everything has got thorns, except for these pretty things, these daisies. Rex, you lost the ball. Steve, we need something else to play with. Can you go get a mouse or a chipmunk or something, or whatever's eating those tomatoes? Stat. Well, at least say hello to the camera. A lot of fun things going on in the wind, huh? Yeah. T-Rex, where's the ball? What'd you do with that ball?